How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I told you all that I will be coming back live again to complete this conversation about Revolt News with Tezlyn Figaro, and her platform, and also how she conduct herself as the host with all the ratchetness, I would say, and how she just didn't have no control. Her energy also brought the energy from the audience and how they were interacting with each other. We saw some parts of it from the second part that I showed you, that two women were discussing their different Christian views, and later on it got very combative. Then we also know that uh brother from the LGBT, a man from the L, I ain't gonna say brother because he's not my brother. A man from the LGBTQ community spoke about how to keep your church separated from government, politics, or whatever. That is so old and played out. When people get deeper in the understanding of Jesus Christ, that Christ is in everything. He's in the government because that's who he was mainly against, in their policies and the way they were ruling the people. God rules over man. Christ rules over man. Okay? He is the Son of God. In order to see the Father, you got to see the Son. So, with that being said, that ignorant man who wanted to shut her up and to silence her on speaking on biblical principles and beliefs to give to the people out there who are in darkness, and she wants to give them the light. See, Satan don't want you to have the light. Satan wants you to stay in darkness so he can continue to control you. That's why they keep saying separate the church from the state, or separate religion from the state. So there's no separation. It's actually both. When they say church from the Lord, like, if you're gonna live for Christ, live for Christ. If you're gonna live for the world, you live for the world. But that's the separation. You know, um, darkness cannot bring in light. You see. So anyway, moving on. We talking about this part 3. I'm going into part 3 of this discussion. And all I'm just saying is we're going to finish up this video. We just going to finish it up so we can continue on what the panel had to say and also what the audience response was. Of course, they was watching the debate between Harris and Trump on 2024. This took place last Tuesday, I believe this was, on the day of 9/11. 9/11, I believe, was Tuesday, or was it 10, 12, 11? 9/11 was Wednesday, but Tuesday was I believe, the night of the debate between the Vice President Harris and the former President Donald Trump. So we're going to just go into this and we're going to try to finish this up. I am getting a little tired, y'all. It's been a really long sort of day for me, being out in early to get my hair. I don't know if you could see me in this little window here, but just getting my hair fixed, my washing set, and getting ready for church tomorrow. I didn't do everything that I wanted to do, but at least I got my hair done. Okay, so let's get into it. Here we go.
Chastise her for feeling like her vote should be reflected on her faith.
Moving on. Yeah, we're just moving on.
And I understood you, and I wanted to make sure everybody else understood.
Y'all like separation of church and state, though.
Well, 501c3s
we just want to move on. We just want to move on to the next. We just want to move on to the next.
Churches want to get rid of
Excuse me, Deaconess is talking.
But the tax exemption makes them a part of the federal government. So unless they want to get rid of their tax exemption,
so they don't like law and order. Do y'all like law and order or not?
I'm just saying.
The sis, brother, we want to move on to the next. Again, y'all make sure y'all tell Revolt. I just want to be clear. We want to be able to have longer conversations, be able to have these conversations, but unfortunately, we cannot just spend all night on one thing. We want to get to immigration. I want to get your comment, but we want to play a quick clip on immigration because we got to switch conversations. Take a listen.
As I started off the segment, I said white supremacist culture will weaponize them. I always put the blame on white supremacist culture because they use immigration as a form to undermine us.
Well. For a country that claims to be a nation of immigrants, you would think it'd be an easier process for Congress to make it where people can go from being undocumented citizens to being documented ones, right?
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us.
Yeah. Most of the immigrants I know that came here have come from absolutely nothing and have never accepted handouts. So while you're sitting here talking all of this nonsense about how these migrants literally are taking everything from you, understand that's not going to make your life better.
Thoughts on immigration?
So I was born here. Before anybody asked me for my birth certificate, I was born here. But my mother and my father are from the Caribbean. So they are immigrants in this country. They didn't take, first of all, they're black immigrants. So the idea that Donald Trump is questioning VP Harris's race, Jamaicans are some of the blackest people I know. So let's start with that. Also, I think it's important that when we're talking about immigration, there's several things that's wrong with immigration in this country. One, the Republican Party, because they have no ideas, they like to pit people against one another. And so they use people coming here from other countries that they have intentionally destabilized, right? Why are these people coming to America? And it's Democrats too. Under Democratic administrations, U.S. foreign policy causes people from Central and South America to come here because we have destabilized their countries intentionally. Go all the way back to Ronald Reagan, okay? This is nothing new. So the idea that we are saying, they're bringing all these people here. Well, if America minded its own business and wouldn't go stirring up shit in other people's countries, those people would probably stay where they were at.
Immigration.
Yeah. So as it relates to immigration, I think it's a really funny subject, right? The very folks that say year over year that they can't give resources, right, or reparations and everything else to Black Americans in all the blue cities across America, they found a way to give immigrants, illegal immigrants, hundreds of millions of dollars in cities like Chicago. Most recently in states like California, the state Senate passed a bill to grant 0% interest loans, zero down, plus $150,000, I believe it's a tax credit. The reality in this situation is that there is a group of folks that under the Biden-Harris administration have been brought into this country to offset the vote. And that is a legitimate issue for Black Americans today, and we need to deal with it. And oh, by the way, in the process of that, we've got undocumented terrorists that have come into this country that have put our nation at risk. And I have a legitimate issue with that.
Biggest people on the terrorist watch list are white supremacists.
Well, I want to piggyback
every
off
terrorist agency in the United States says that the biggest threat to America is white supremacists, actually.
Okay, well, to piggyback off that, just discussing the resources. As a former foster child, had I aged out, I would have only left the orphanage with a garbage bag full of clothes, and they would have given me a $700 check a month and told me good luck. So I think that it's disgusting, a spit in the face to kids like me who didn't ask to be born into the situations that we were born into, that we would never be able to qualify for the resources that are literally being given to somebody else. Additionally, let's talk about the reasoning why they're coming over here, because we keep talking about the type of people that are coming over here. Let's look about the reasoning why they're even letting them coming over here. Black people are no longer fearing that the Republicans are going to take away our right to vote. These voter suppression arguments are no longer working. Yet if you can threaten an entire demographic of people, it's at 10 million now. We can only imagine what it would be in the next 4 years if this woman wins this office. In which case, now if you tell that large of a demographic of people that they will lose all of their benefits and their citizenship if they were to vote for a Republican, you can guarantee that you now have a new loyal voting base. So in the same way that Black people have been prioritized last, every time we're prioritized first during campaign season, prioritized last during an administration. We're going to go see us be kicked out of the room. We won't even be on the list once these migrants have come over here. There's already 10 million. There's only 49 million of us here. There's only 49 million of us here.
Yep.
And then if you think about the voter apathy that exists within the black community, there's not 49 million of us voting. But you can guarantee every single one of those illegals who can get out there and vote is gonna go vote.
When we have more time.
If they're not U.S. citizens.
They're literally voting in our elections.
The left is working to make them citizens.
Not even just make them citizens. They're getting IDs as soon as they get over here.
Are they illegal or are they not?
They're illegals, and they're voting in our elections.
They can't be one or the other. They got to be. Are they illegal or not?
Should they be citizens or not? So should they be citizens
but no,
or not?
we're talking about this election right now.
The should is what's driving the vote. The should is what's driving the vote.
Michaela, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay, hold on,
in
guys.
Foster care in which state?
California. The same California that is giving $150,000
Can I ask you
to
this?
illegal migrants. But if my
0%,
sister,
zero down.
who just aged out of foster care
But they
2
wouldn't
years
give
ago,
you
she
25
wasn't
Hold on,
getting that.
wait a minute. I agree with giving black Americans the money first, but I do want to ask you this because again, this is where this Republican talking point always gets me confused. You were aged out at what age?
No, I didn't age out. I was adopted. I'm talking about the people who don't.
Okay,
who
but
do
when you
age
said
out.
wasn't born, didn't ask to be born in the situation they
Yeah,
were
like my mom was on crack and my dad was in and out of prison.
Right.
That's not
So-
a situation I should have to pay for, yet for whatever
That's right,
reason.
but
the
I
government
also-
didn't feel bad enough for me to
Ma'am?
give me or my family
Ma'am?
those resources,
Ma'am?
and then leave an immigrant.
Ma'am,
That's a point.
ma'am. I just want to know, when I hear the Republican talking point, I just want to know when they say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
I did
when
that.
they say, let me finish. I'm talking about to people that who were born, because we talked about this before, people that were born with incarcerated parents, people that are born in destitute situations, because your brother would always say, you have an opportunity to get, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, what do you say to the Republican that says that despite the situation you were born in, because none of that is systematic, none of it matters, I'm giving the opposing side, none of it matters, pull yourself up by the bootstrap, you're not a victim, don't be a victim, don't cry. What is your answer to a lot of conservatives that say, regardless of the situation you were born in, that you didn't ask to be born in, I'm not talking about immigration, I'm talking about black Americans.
Yeah.
What is your answer to that? Because Republicans say all the time to stop being a victim and to pull yourself up by the
genuinely
bootstrap.
believe that once you stop believing that everything is set up against you and that you can't win,
But just
you will
a minute
win.
ago, you said it was set up against you because they didn't ask to be born in the situation.
They were asked to be born into this situation, yet for whatever reason, they're not offered the same resources that
But I'm not
somebody
talking about
else
the
who
resources.
also.
The conservatives
Okay,
say pull
I'm
yourself
listening.
up by the bootstrap. They say don't worry about resources.
Okay,
Conservatives
so-
say don't worry about resources. They say don't worry about it, regardless if the parent was
with the
born on
Democrats
crack.
being in power, ma'am,
I'm not
again,
asking
we're
that.
talking
I
about
asked you what's your
context.
we're talking about context.
Okay.
Conservatives say all the time.
Pull yourself up by the
including
bootstraps,
this
correct?
brother.
Correct.
Pull yourself.
Okay.
So I'm
and
saying
I'm
regardless
saying if the
of whose
Democrats
daddy
are
was
willing
on
to help
crack.
these people pull themselves
I'm
up
not-
by the
I didn't
bootstraps,
ask you that.
they should be willing to help others
That's
pull
right,
themselves
but
up
I
by the
didn't
bootstraps.
ask you that.
Now, this isn't a Republican talking point because
asked you-
Republicans wouldn't give it to anybody.
Right, I know.
Okay, so there's that. I came up, I didn't have to get any of that, and yet I walked into a six-figure job.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college and did the same thing, raising my daughter by myself.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
believe that telling yourself things aren't going to work out for me or, oh my God,
not
I
about
have
telling
messed
them.
up. It's
I'm just-
once you believe that, that is your life.
I'm not talking about belief.
You tell
I'm talking
yourself,
about-
I'm going to win. I'm
Right.
going to win.
We got
you're gonna
that,
win.
but I'm just saying people that born. I would just want to see your opinion on people that born into.
I went to the illustrious Clark Atlanta University,
Yeah.
and they told me to find a way or make one.
Right.
So anybody born in any
I believe in
situation
that.
will do just
then
that.
There's no point in talking about that destitute situation.
It is.
Let's move on.
Because right now people are
Let's
being
move on.
allocated resources,
Let's let
and we
him
have
move.
people who
No,
need
but
those
the
resources.
conservatives say
We're
you don't
talking
need the
about the fact
resources.
that we're not prioritizing American
let Young John-
citizens.
No, but that's
We're
what
talking
I
about
asked
we're
you.
not prioritizing
No, you
American
heard me say at the
citizens.
beginning of what I said that I believe it should go to American citizens.
Hey,
Okay, I
Virginia.
said that, ma'am.
Okay,
I just asked
so
you
I'm
what
pointing
was your
out the fact when we're talking about immigration, we understand that
But that wasn't
Republicans
what I
would
asked
not
you.
give out these resources.
Hi, Virginia. How are you? Welcome to my chat. I like to see that you're here. You are watching and listening. And you said, dang, slow down, ladies. Yeah, I mean, she's trying to explain things and she just keep cutting her off. Like, she's telling you what she's telling you as far as the Michaela part is trying to explain. She was a child, excuse me, born under certain circumstances. She didn't ask to become the world the way she did, but she came the way she did. She gave her story of being adopted. But that didn't stop her in believing that she didn't have to stay dwelling on it all her life, that she couldn't be no greater than where she was. She have overcome certain things that was obstacles in her life. And what Michaela is saying is that the Republican Party is not saying that people cannot accomplish better than what they had when they came in the world. Even J.D. Vance gave his story of his mother being addicted to drugs and how he was raised by his grandmother. But that didn't stop him from becoming um, a good, he run his own business. He's an attorney. He runs his own law firm, whatever. J.D. Vance, right? J.D. Vance went in the military. He made something of his life. He didn't stay there, dwelling on the fact that he was born from an addict mother. Okay? And he didn't really speak much on his father, but he spoke, but we know how that goes, right? So what I'm saying is that the same things that are in the Democrat Party, they have it in the Republican Party. The only difference is that the Democrat Party want people to continue to believe that they can't do no better. You need us to help you. You need free Medicaid. You need free food. You need food stamps. You need that kind of assistance from us so that you can be able to live without trying to pull yourself out of that mindset of yours and think better for yourself. Of course, people are going to be able, they need help, but we're not going to stay there. It's only just for temporarily. Your condition is only temporarily. It's not supposed to be for a lifetime that you have to stay on public assistance, that you have to depend on government support, government aiding you all the time, getting help from the government, where you need to earn your living on your own work, in your own, and it says that in the book, the word of God. Man, don't work, don't eat. God give everybody their own work. Everybody should be busy about their own work. Nobody should be rewarded for something they don't do. Just like children, you don't give children rewards when they don't behave right or they don't do right. They don't in school, or their behavior is out of control and you still rewarding them. We don't reward bad behavior. And that's the same way the Lord takes care of you. When you don't want to do what you're supposed to do, to work for what you're supposed to do for a living, then you just going to have to live from the crumbs from the table, and you shouldn't sit back and complain. You're just being lazy. No, there's no such thing as being lazy. God gave everybody a gift, a talent, or whatever. We all born in certain circumstances, under certain circumstances. Nobody came in this world through the perfect parents and the perfect mother or the perfect father. During that time, during your mother time, she may have been pregnant with you. It might have been like a pregnancy that just happened unplanned. It was an unplanned pregnancy. Some children have been born a rape child, a rape child. So that doesn't necessarily mean that that child can't be the president of the United States or become somebody great in the community or somebody that's going to be a good doctor or anything. Look at Carson's story. This is why they choose to be Republicans, because they believe that American people are good, are hardworking people. We don't want to keep our nation behind, believing that ever have, all we always have to depend on the government, on public assistance. And black people have really been messed up in the system like that. Really, truly, it comes upon you just because grandma or whatever um, had a bunch of kids back in her time, and she, kept having babies because that's all she knew what to do, and take care of all the children, and not only just her own children, but children. And it just, like, to some point, as a human being, it comes a point in life where you got to see other things than other than just that of who you are. You want to become better than just that's the only place you lived all your life. So let's go on and listen to the conversation. So what she's saying about the immigration, I feel this way about the immigration. We all came from different backgrounds and different cultures and different ethnicity. Some of us came from different cultural backgrounds or whatever like that. That's what America is made up of. But the thing, this immigration thing is that is people coming here legally. Are people really authorized to be here legally? Because we got to be very careful who we are allowing into our country. And we could go on and on and on and on and on about this stuff. But it's just the fact that people should come into the United States or anywhere they decide to go live, that they come in through the right process. Okay? That's my point. Let's go on.
resources.
That's all I wanted you
My
to say.
point is Democrats are only
That's all
proposing
I
that
asked
these
you.
resources go to a
Sis.
certain group, and black people need to pay
Ma'am.
attention to the fact that y'all won't get those resources.
Ma'am.
That's the point. Y'all go ahead. Y'all move on.
Ma'am.
I'm right. Move
We
on.
said that it's not about right or wrong.
It is right.
No, it's not.
It is
I just
right.
want to know.
Black
I
people
want
won't
to
get
know.
those resources, and therefore
Ma'am.
you should not vote for a Democrat who would
Ma'am.
allow foster children,
Ma'am.
veterans who lost limbs fighting for this
Ma'am.
country, veterans like you and this man
Right,
here,
right.
not get those
We agree.
resources. All
We
right,
agree.
all
Girl,
right.
relax.
So if Democrats
We
are
agree.
giving them
Girl,
out,
you
then
don't
let them
relax.
then why
Can
haven't
he
Democrats
speak?
given them to
I'm not
black
talking
people?
about no Democrats. I asked
Why
you, what was
haven't
your
they given them to black
Is
people?
something wrong with her?
No,
No,
I'm
shit,
asking.
something wrong with her.
Y'all see how she's trying to switch it to make
No,
it seem
I
like
just
something's
asked you
wrong
a
with me when
simple
all I'm
question.
trying to do is point
Girl,
out the fact
relax.
that black people
Relax.
are not being prioritized in the
Ma'am,
administration. Therefore,
relax.
when you ask about what
Relax.
Republicans are doing for us,
Relax.
what are Democrats doing
I
for
didn't
y'all?
ask you that.
Besides putting you last.
Nobody
Democrats
asked
are
you
doing
that.
nothing in your community
Nobody
for
asked
60
you that.
years.
What I'm asking
That's
you
all.
now is to let young
Young
Johnson.
John, please go ahead and
I'm
share your
asking
thoughts.
I'm asking to share your
I'm
thoughts.
done.
I didn't ask you any of that. Girl, relax.
I had to put it in there because I
No.
saw where you were trying to
No,
pigeonhole
I
it, and I
wasn't. I
wasn't
just asked you a
going there.
simple question. You the one that was at
No.
Chick-fil-A, wasn't you?
No, yeah, it was me.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
What does that make? Does that prove a point of some sort?
No, I just want to know.
Since
It's a
I got
simple
found
question.
an
Why y'all can't
opportunity
answer
and I
simple
took it,
questions?
right?
What's wrong with it?
Let's
All right.
Let us
So-
finish. Girl,
No,
relax.
but people try to
you on the same
associate
thing.
Chick-fil-A and
No,
call me a
I asked
chicken
because I
girl
wanted to make
and
sure
stuff
that was one because you was in there.
But I was also the girl who spoke at the rally. I was
Yeah,
also
and so
the girl
was I.
No, I'm also the
And so
girl
was
who
I.
mobilizes
Then run
HBCU
them
students
seats.
every year. I'm also
Baby.
the one who provides
Girl,
internships
if you
and
don't
jobs
relax.
to these kids. So stop acting like all I
I
am
just
is
want
a
to
girl that
know.
showed up at Chick-fil-A.
Girl,
Let's not do that.
You shouldn't have
Let's not do that.
Do you want to do the
If
receipts
I had the opportunity to meet a president and it happened to be at Chick-fil-A, I'm going. I'm going. How many people in this room have met a president? Okay,
Can you
you
let
don't
him
care
speak?
where
I
you
just
meet him
want to
at?
ask, 'cause
If I
you didn't
ran
even
into
let me
Trump at a
ask.
gas station, I
You
would have been
asked.
just as
Girl,
excited. So
relax.
trying to
We
act
get it.
like
You ride for Trump. We get it. We get it. You
I
don't be in the White
respect
House.
high
We get it.
offices,
Good,
and
we
therefore,
got it.
yes, I would be honored to meet a president,
They are
regardless of
literally-
who it is. Go ahead.
It's not very good today.
Evidence. So why are we even entertaining this?
Well, I do
It
want to hear.
really
I
is
do
insulting
wanna
our
hear the
intelligence.
Republican.
No, it's really insulting our intelligence.
Yeah, it really is. But I
What
want to hear the Republican sisters comment about grabbing about a pee.
Well, first
No,
of all,
let's move
context is
on. We
important.
did this part already.
About to people that didn't, who were born, because we talked about this for people that were born with incarcerated parents, people that are born, people that are born in destitute situations. Because your brother would always say you have an opportunity to get. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, what do you say to the Republican that says that? What is your answer?
And so forth.
Rob,
I'm pushing you to set aside
why
the
can't
social
you
with that
acknowledge what this
construction.
brother's done?
I'm in the construction industry.
Brother, you ain't the only one doing the work.
It's about running that money right back through the circle.
Let him. I just want
That
They
are coming
disagree.
from Belize, that are coming from Honduras, that are coming from Jamaica, that are coming.
And then leave my immigrant.
ma'am.
That's a point.
Ma'am, I just want to know, when I hear the Republican talking point, I just want to know when they say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
I did
when
that.
they say, I didn't, let me finish. I'm talking about to people that didn't, who were born, because we talked about this before, people that were born with incarcerated parents, people that are born in destitute situations, because your brother would always say, you have, say, don't worry about it, regardless of
Look, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm just trying. I hit something here and I just like lost us. So I'm trying to find where we left off at. So please bear with me. I'm just going to have to start from here.
parent was
With the
born on
Democrats
crack.
being in power, ma'am.
I'm not
Again,
asking
we're
that.
talking
I
about
asked you what's your
context.
we're talking about context.
Okay.
Conservatives say all the time.
Pull yourself up by the
including
bootstraps,
this
correct?
brother.
Correct.
Pull yourself.
Okay.
So I'm
and
saying,
I'm saying
regardless
if the
of whose
Democrats
daddy
are
was
willing
on
to help
crack,
these people pull themselves
I'm
up by
not-
the
I didn't
bootstraps,
ask you that.
they should be willing to help others
That's
pull
right,
themselves
but
up by
I
the
didn't
bootstraps.
ask you that.
Now, this isn't a Republican talking point, because
asked you-
Republicans wouldn't give it to anybody.
Right, I know.
Okay, so there's that. I came up, I didn't have to get any of that, and yet I walked into a six-figure job.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college and did the same thing, raising my daughter by myself.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
believe that telling yourself things aren't going to work out for me, or, oh my God,
It's not
I have
about telling
messed up.
them. I'm just-
Once you believe that, that is your
I'm
life.
not talking about believe.
You tell
I'm talking
yourself,
about-
I'm going to win. I'm
Right.
going to win.
We got
You're
that,
gonna win.
but I'm just saying people that born. I just want to see your opinion on people that born into.
I went to the
destitute
illustrious Clark
situations.
Atlanta University,
Yeah.
and they told me to find a way or make one.
Right.
So anybody
I
born in
believe-
any
I believe in
situation
that.
will do just
Then
that.
there's no point in talking about that destitute situation.
It is.
Let's move on.
Because right now people are
Let's
being
move on.
allocated resources,
Let's let
and we
him
have
move.
people who
No,
need
but
those
the
resources.
conservatives say
We're
you don't
talking
need the
about the fact that we're not prioritizing
Let's
American
let young
citizens.
Johnson. No, but that
We're
wasn't what
talking
I
about
asked
we're
you.
not prioritizing
No, you
American
heard me say at the
citizens.
beginning of what I said that I
That-
believe it should go to American citizens first.
Okay.
I said that, ma'am.
Okay,
I just asked
so
you
I'm
what was
pointing
your
out the fact
response.
that when we're talking about immigration, we understand that
But that wasn't what
Republicans
I
would
asked
not
you.
give out these resources.
That's all I wanted you
My
to say.
point is Democrats are only
That's all
proposing
I
that
asked
these
you.
resources go to a
Sis.
certain group, and black people need to pay
Ma'am.
attention to the fact that y'all won't get
Ma'am.
those resources.
Ma'am.
That's the point. Y'all go ahead. Y'all move on.
Ma'am,
I'm right. Move
we
on.
said that it's not about right or wrong.
It is right.
No, it's not.
It is
I just
right.
want to know.
Black
I
people
want
won't
to
get
know.
those resources, and therefore you
Ma'am.
should not vote for a Democrat who would
Ma'am.
allow foster children,
Ma'am.
veterans who lost.
You see, me, I'm like this. It doesn't really matter who you vote for. What matters to me is the policies. If it suits you right, then you vote with your conscience being clear and your heart being right, with the right heart and with the right spirit. I'm not voting for Trump to fix my life. I'm voting on the fact that I like what his policies are that he wants to put in place for our country, for this country. I don't know Kamala's policy. Every time they ask her about things about the economy and how we're going to fix this, she goes into her story about how she was born in a middle class family. Her mother raised her like she's a single mother. Her mother was a she was a single mother, which is a flat out lie. Because if you really do your research, you'll find out Kamala was raised up in Canada in a pretty wealthy community. Trump already gave you a background of her family history because before he went into debating her, he knows that she's going to come with you trying to get the votes by lying and saying she knows about how it is to with I'm sorry, being under some type of underclass or poverty or living through struggles and everything where she didn't live through struggles. Her parents were wealthy. I wouldn't say wealthy, rich, but her family had a good financial plan for the family. Okay, just put it that way. So when it came to whatever her needs were for her educational needs and whatever she needed at the time to be for her life, for her expenses and everything else, her family always had her back. She don't know what it's like to really struggle and come from a family that didn't have those means, those resources. Everything, most, especially black families in America, is been living from hand to mouth, meaning that they only had just enough, not even just enough, just making it through each day. It was never anything like savings or whatever. You had to really stretch your money, your dollar. With Kamala's family, her family was always seemed to be pretty well off. She don't know what it's been like to really have a struggle in life. This is what people are saying. And what's her name is sharing her story. And the same thing with J.G. Vance's story. Maybe not with Trump. Trump said his father and everything had a business, and Trump, as he took over the business, as he grew older and he inherited his father's business and everything, he made a lot of money by how he made the investments in real estate and in those places with the money, how he moved his family money around to make it grow to become for the Trump family to become very wealthy. It wasn't like he was really born with a lot of money. His money came from the fact that he knew how to make good investments with money, to make money work for him and not him working for his money. This is what Trump's whole thing was, is how he was able to become wealthy, how he invested his money in real estate. So anyway, big companies, corporations, whatever. You get a 401k, you can move your money around too if you want to. You can move it here and there in your stocks or whatever. Make your money work for you instead of you working for your money when you retire and you could just want to do something else or whatever. So anyway, let's go back to the conversation.
Limbs fighting for this country,
Ma'am.
veterans like you and this man
Right,
here,
right.
not get those
We agree.
resources.
We agree.
All
Girl, relax.
So if Democrats
We
are
agree.
giving them
Girl,
out,
you
then,
don't
let them,
relax.
then why haven't Democrats given them
I'm
to black
not talking
people?
about no Democrats. I asked
Why
what
haven't
was your
they given them to black
Is
people?
something wrong with her?
No,
No, there's something wrong with her.
Y'all see how she's trying to switch it to make it seem like something's wrong with me when all I'm trying to do is point out the fact that black people are not being prioritized in the administration. Therefore, when you ask about what Republicans are doing for us, what are Democrats doing for y'all? Besides putting you last.
Nobody asked you that.
Thank you.
Nobody asked you that. What I'm asking you now is to let young
John, please go ahead and share your thoughts.
I'm asking to share your thoughts. I didn't ask you any of that. Girl, relax.
I had to put it in there because I saw where you were trying to pigeonhole
No,
it, and I
I
wasn't
just asked you a
going
simple question. You're the one that was at Chick-fil-A, wasn't you?
No, yeah, it was me.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
What does that make? Does that prove a point of some sort?
No, I just want to know.
Seems
It's a
like I
simple
found
question.
an
Why y'all can't
opportunity
answer
and I
simple
took it,
questions?
right?
What's wrong with it? Let us finish. Girl,
No,
relax.
but people try to associate Chick-fil-A.
No, I asked because I wanted to make sure there was one because you was in that.
But I was also the girl who spoke at the rally. I was
Yeah,
also
and so
the girl
was
who,
I.
you know, I'm also the
And so
girl
was
who
I.
mobilizes
Then run
HBCU
them
students
seats.
every year. I'm also
Baby.
the one who provides
Girl, if
internships
you
and
don't
jobs
relax.
to these kids. So stop acting like all I am
just
is
want
a
to
girl that showed up at Chick-fil-A. Girl, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Do you want to do the receipts
As I
again?
had the opportunity to meet a president.
You can see that Tezlyn actually, well, she said she invited her on her panel, but I can just see that Tezlyn was really trying to bait her, like really pushing Michaela. She knows Michaela is a very, very emotional part. Now, I wouldn't say emotional, but Michaela can be very, like sassy, and she's still very young, and she had pretty much a pretty rough life, and she's on the Republican side, and she's trying to make her feel that that's not the side she belongs on. But if you really want to know, she in the perfect side because a lot of her characteristics go along with Trump's characteristics. Because you can see Trump is not very, you know, patient when it comes to a lot of questions being asked, and he likes to run on. He likes to get it out. And that's just the way Michaela is. With Michaela, you question her about something, and she will want you to hear what she got to say, and she's going to try to get it all out without filtering herself, without filter. And that's what Trump is like. Trump don't have a filter. He's just going to say it the way it's going to come out, and it is what it is. But he's going to hit somewhere. And that's the same way I feel Michaela is. And now this lady here, she's a little mouthpiece to herself, Tezlyn or whatever. But I don't think she can really reach Michaela on the level that she's on in life, because I think Michaela is a little bit more powerful of reaching her audience and speaking on hitting on certain points. So she did a wonderful job speaking in the audience of a predominantly white audience, not a black audience, but a white audience. And she was able to win a lot of their attention and their favor, because she didn't go to the Democrat Party, because the Democrat side was mostly the LGBTQ and a bunch of women of liberal women, these liberated women or whatever they want to be. And also you would say black people, you know, the black people. So, for Michaela had to reach where she had her time in the spotlight around all those rich white. She was around a lot of the wealthy, and you could say different the class of white folks predominantly, and she wasn't favoring that type of audience. Where what's her name can only speak to one particular type of audience and her hip hop culture. Michaela was herself. She was a black woman being herself, a black woman who is a single mother, who is raising a daughter, and she told her story and everything. And she also does a lot of activism, and she does a lot of things for people to come out of thinking that they cannot overcome some of the challenges in their life. She does a lot of speaking at places. Like she says, I kick down, knock down doors, whatever. She sold herself out there. What she do? She says she has a whole lot more than what you think she do as Chick-fil-A, but she got a lot more other work that she do other than just being the girl at Chick-fil-A. But anyway, let's go on.
And it happened to be at Chick-fil-A. I'm going. I'm going. If I meet a president, you gonna lose every time. How many people in this room have never related? Okay, can you let him care where you meet him at? If I ran in a truck at a gas station, I would have been just as excited. So trying to act like
you ride for Trump, we get it. We get it. You gonna be in the White House.
high offices, and therefore, yes, I would be honored to meet a president, regardless of who it is. Go ahead.
The people are literally asking you to stop, so we can move on.
They didn't ask you to stop, but
it's my show, man. See, that's the problem. You keep the business. Oh my God.
Moderator, we should do that. Shouldn't be going back and forth with the moderator. But
no, actually you should.
It's okay. Actually you should. I didn't see that happen at the debate, but okay.
All right. There's some things we can all align on.
No, respectfully, right? When I first got the opportunity to talk, I spoke on the concept of us, being passionate about what we believe in our beliefs. And the simplest assessment that I could come up with tonight from being back in the green room, watching y'all before I got out here, I realized we all get riled up for both of these parties, right? And the only time I seen everybody calm down and all that shit subside, where we could talk like adults and actually listen, is when we all realized ain't nobody really did shit for us when it comes to reparations. And that's when y'all all got quiet. When you start, no. When y'all start talking about these immigrants getting it all, they're getting reparations.
So
really, basically.
He don't believe in reparations.
But okay, even if he doesn't, I noticed the room, the air changed, the climate immediately. It got stiff for a second, like, oh, now everybody agreed. Ain't neither side done any of that for any of us.
But he don't believe in reparations.
I started to realize that this is where the divisiveness comes in at. At that one moment when we all came to this point of realizing that ain't nobody got no reparations in this room. Nobody look like us. But it don't matter if he believe in it or not. I noticed that everybody in the room was like, oh shit. Everybody else did, but we ain't. So are we all getting played on either side of it?
But Jock, they never say, no, this is important, because this is why we keep, me and this brother dance and do this all the time.
I see.
We do this all the time. I don't have no problem saying Democrats ain't shit, Republicans ain't shit. My problem with a lot of, because I'm independent, but my problem with a lot of Republicans is they never acknowledge that Republicans also, that's not what he's saying.
Okay.
They're not saying that, oh, we don't get what we want from either party. They're saying, which is why I invited them here, to stomp down hard for Trump. They are saying that the Republican Party is better. They are saying that Trump is better. They are saying, this brother said, Democrats, I admit, Democrats don't do what they should do. It's usually on this side of the aisle where they actually say, we don't do both sides. On this side, you do not get acknowledgement on what Republicans don't do. You heard the brother proud to say, ain't nobody gonna get to be in the big house but baby, that ain't no flex. That ain't no flex. Ain't nobody trying to be in the house. I'm in the field all day. So what I'm saying is that's not true. When we talk about reparations, it'll get just back turned up. So I know you want a peaceful, calm environment, but unfortunately, that's just not where we at.
It's not about peaceful and calm, but I sat here and I watched when y'all start talking about the immigrants and people, no matter what side you on, red or blue, everybody felt the same. It was the same context of like saying, all these people getting it, we still ain't got.
Yeah.
So then wait,
but then
once that point got pushed off of this little table right here, off the little coffee table, it dissipated, shit went right back up.
I see like 19 people here in the chat. Could you please hit the like button? Even if you're just watching, could you just please hit the like button? I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you're out here in the chat. Hey, Frankie. Glad to see you, sis. Yeah, because I am kind of running low, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this all night. I am tired. But like I said, I wanted to finish this with you if I didn't start it up earlier today, because this is a very interesting topic and a discussion with Black. Yeah. This is a very interesting discussion with a panel with the Black men, Black women on both parties, Republicans and the Democrats. And the thing is that I feel that Black people do need to change their party. They need to change from being only Democrat. They need to give themselves a chance in being Republicans and believing in themselves again. Because at one time, that's who we were. Until the Democrats had to come and offer us certain things and affirmative action, I guess it was, and all these other things they offered us as far as like welfare, women rights, and abortions, and all these things they offered us is what got us trapped, caught in there, and got comfortable being there on that plantation with the Democrats. We need to step out of what we are so comfortable with all the time, even in our churches. That when we go to church and we go to worship, it should be about Jesus. We don't need to be bringing in all of the other crazy stuff into the church. What sorority and fraternity or any of those organizations we belong to. Just let your mind and your focus and everything be focused on the Word of God. We don't need all that other extra stuff. I said tomorrow when I show up to church, I want to come when the Word is preached. I don't want to do all the other stuff. Okay, the long prayers and that and the other. I'm going to do all my worship before I leave my house. When I get there, I just want to hear the Word. I just want to get the Word. I don't want to do all the extra stuff. But let us move on because my battery is running low.
Because it went back to going
But
to
they're
opposing
always,
side.
I know, but Doug, what I'm trying to tell you is,
because I think there's some things
he
that we
believes
can
that
agree to.
Republicans, they believe that
Between me and
Republicans
him,
is the way.
And it's safe to say that you're much further leaning left than I am.
Absolutely.
I think there are some things that he and I can agree to, and that's where we need to go in our community. We don't have to agree on all things, but we do need to start finding some alignment. And so here's where I would say, that brother just sat here and told me that his parents immigrated to this country and took no handouts. And my father immigrated to this country and did the same. And fast food didn't exist for my mother. They both went to HBCUs. They both worked 2 jobs. They both put themselves through school, and they both did a great job with me, my 2 sisters, bought homes, multiple homes, sold them, and built wealth. And it sounds like to me, your parents, who had the same work ethic, turned you into a relatively, I'm going to use the word successful or productive citizen in this country.
Sure.
And so, irregardless of whether I'm on the left or I'm in the right, we got to do a better job. What this brother was saying earlier, finding some alignment. Well, hold on. Finding some alignment, because if this young lady goes to the White House, or Ted's you the one, and you going to the White House, and the rest of us don't.
Be clear about that.
And the rest of us don't.
Clear.
What we need in our community is Black Americans that are going to represent the concerns of all Black Americans, not just those on the left or the right or independent.
Brother, the problem that we have every single time is you never talk about what the Republicans do wrong. And I'm going to keep pressing you that all the time, because although he said, yes, his parents picked himself up by the bootstrap, he's also a Democrat that believes in a safety net to give the resources to those who were born in difficult situations. And we've had this conversation. No, but we've had this conversation, and we ain't going to sit up here and play no game because Young Jock got y'all feeling good about, oh, man, we all aligned. We all aligned that we're not getting what we're supposed to get. But, brother, each and every time, you still don't say that Republicans do something wrong. That's all.
I'm going to let my jump in.
I done got beat up in this debate all night. Yeah, man.
Ask a question. Actually, a couple of things. One, I think it's a huge misnomer that all immigrants are Latinx, right? I think it's a lot of African people of African descent also make up a large part of the immigrant population, just like you just said and just like he's already spoken to. So we are actually helping our own people when we help immigrants, right? Because if we're all people of African descent, don't we all agree? We're all people of African descent. So we are helping our people when we help people of African descent that are coming from Belize, that are coming from Honduras, that are coming from Jamaica, that are coming from DR, that are coming from Haiti. Those are people of African descent. So those are our people that we're helping. I think they use that they say that it's Latinx people to kind of confuse the issue. But when you really look at the numbers, there's just as many people of African descent that are immigrating into this country as well. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is...
Wait, hold on, brother. Wait, because he's really about to go in. So I want to show, just like for sake of Young Jock, because he really wants us to be kumbaya. y'all agree that y'all pulled up by the bootstraps. Immigrant, my parents wasn't no immigrants. So no, I'm just saying y'all agree. But this is where the disagreement comes into play. So it's cool, they agree, but baby, the disagreement comes into play when we start talking about the solution. And it is okay to have a disagreement in the solution. We don't have to just stay right here and say we just agree to agree. No, when we start talking about the solution, that's where you're gonna see these brothers got different opinions. He gonna say, oh hell no, we not helping no immigrants over black Americans. And this brother gonna say, no, there still needs to be, if he's a true Democrat, a safety net for those who cannot. Democrat socialist to the highest level. So explain your position so young Jock can see that no, this is where the solution, the difference of opinion comes in the solution, and that is what politics is all about. So even though y'all agree that y'all pulled up by the bootstraps, what is your position when it comes to immigration and helping immigrants? Let's just put it on the table. We already know y'all disagree. I just want to hear his opinion.
Great. Yeah, so a couple of things. I think one, weaponizing local law enforcement to enforce immigration policy is wrong, right? Because we know that harkens back to the times where you had to check your freedom papers. The fact of the matter is that whether you're black from Jamaica or you black from Atlanta or you black from Mississippi, when that police officer pulls your ass over, they see a black person. They don't care if you got an accent or not. And so we are stronger together than we are opposed to one another. So I have been on record not supporting the laws that the Republicans have been trying to pass here in the state of Georgia around making sure that local law enforcement can jail undocumented people in the city of Atlanta and across the state of Georgia. Because one, we want to talk about money. Do you know how much money it costs to run these detention centers? Do you know how much money it costs to enforce these immigration laws on people who oftentimes the idea that people are coming to this country knowing their papers are not legit and they're going to come here and commit all these crimes is just ridiculous. Most immigrants are trying to what? Stay under the radar. If your parents are immigrants, what they say? Listen, we just work. We're not trying to cause no waves. We're not saying none of that because they already know they already are coming to an extra level of scrutiny just because they have that undocumented status by their name. And so I believe that we're throwing good money over good by spending so much.
Well, that's why I think they need to stay in their countries and try to fix the government in their country and do the things they need to do to get their country to be better than come in here with their crimes and their problems. That's the way I look at it, okay? I don't go bother their countries. I don't mess around with them. Oh, no ways whatsoever. I try to stay right here in the United States of America, and that's it. I'm not really interested in all of that kind of stuff. I didn't get there yet. I'm just not there yet. This is what I told the sister in my church yesterday. She said she was over in Egypt. They went to Egypt in the ministry. And I said, well, you know what, yeah, I'm not there yet. She says, oh, I love to travel. She's an African woman or whatever. I said, well, you love to travel. I don't. I don't. Now, when I do traveling, I like to travel like places like here in the United States and try to feel a little safe where I'm going. I don't like going too far away from home. That's just the way I am. But those of you who do love to like to travel and you like to see that you can go to another country and you can feel relaxed going and you're going to feel welcome there and you're going to be treated well there. Me, I don't get that feeling. Because sometimes I get the feeling that some of them are very mean, some of them can be very rude, some can be very disrespectful, and just because they're not familiar with the culture here and they still come with some of their customs and their ways and things that they've been traumatized by whatever they went to and they experience in their own country. I lived through it, so I know what I'm talking about. So I don't feel like at my age right now, where I'm at in my age, and I ain't never really, wanted to be out of the United States of America. I'm just not interested in traveling like that. They feel comfortable coming to America because coming to America for them, they get to experience a little bit more liberty and freedom than what they have to deal with in their own countries. That's why so many of them want to come over here. If and then they complain about, oh, you Americans this, you Americans that, then don't come here. That's the way I feel. Now, as far as with the gun laws and the Republican sides, I'm not with that. I'm not with guns at all, period, point blank. Now, that part I can't agree with. I cannot align with at all with the Republicans, with the gun laws. All right, people having guns, and even with some of the police officers having immunity and all that, I can't align with that either. I believe we do need police officers that for our safety and all that other stuff. But I think that if they go out there and they do something like innocently take somebody's life that's innocent and do stuff like that, they should be punished for this crimes such as that nature. I'm sorry, the murder, that's God's law. Point blank, period. Thou shalt not murder. We gotta stay within some things in line with God. And some things that are in line with God, I'm just not going to step out of line with. Now, that's the way I feel. I'm not a gun person. I'm not for guns. And I'm not for police officers who will use their power and their authority to abuse and hurt people that they have a certain dislike for, and they just going to do it and try to get away with it when they feel they have that right. That part with the Republican side I can't get with. But anyway, y'all, I gotta go because my battery is running low. Um, I shared as much as I can with you on this conversation. I may come back with you again later and we could get into other conversations about other things. Or maybe some more talk about this. At this time, I'm not going to stream it. I am going to go live and I'm going to actually have my face to the camera. So, with that being said, God bless you. I love you until we meet again. Peace.